and no Mishnah. All right. Okay. Not the easiest stuff tonight.
It's good we did three Mishnayos last night.
Good. I was thinking that. Yeah, I was thinking that.
Thank you, Hashem.
Thank you, Hashem. Maybe I knew that what was coming. Maybe I really apologize for making everybody wait. And I don't know. Okay, let's see how fast we finish it up. Maybe we could do Mishnayos afterward. Okay, we'll see. Probably not. Okay, so we're up to Kuf Beis Amud Beis. Tanur Rabbanan, second wide line down. Yeah, so again, we're talking in the sugya. So, well, before that, we have to say that, where is it? Yeah, so we're talking about we got into this whole Gemara based on a stira. If a guy asks a fellow to buy him wheat and he ends up buying him barley, or he asks him to buy him barley and he buys him wheat, so we had a machlokes, we had a stira in Mishnayos as what the din is. Right, so one says that one Tana said the loss or the gain all goes to the shliach, and we said because it's a shinui, and he was meshanet, so since he changed it up, so he's kind of. And one said if he makes it less, it goes less to him, and if he goes more, then they split it. Meaning, so if he loses, then the loss goes to the shliach. And if he gains, it goes down the middle. Meaning they split it. So Rabbi Yochanan had said that the pshat is, what is it? That's going contra Rabbi Yehuda, that shinui is not koina. So that's why if shinui is not koina, so therefore they can split the profits. Right? But then the Bnei Marava asked on Rabbi Yochanan that if that's the case, and this is what we got stuck on last night's stop, if that's the case, so then the shliach is buying something for himself and for the person who sent him, but he's not the shliach of the person who sent him, since he's buying something different than what he was sent for. So if that's the case, how is he kaina on behalf of the sender if he was never officially made a shliach of the sender? That was the kasha of Yochanan. Right? So now the Gemara is going to have a whole back and forth about this. Yeah, so Tanur Rabbanan, second wide line. So if somebody takes a sada from his friend, right? Meaning, no, he buys a sada in the name of his friend. Meaning, a guy's going to buy a house, and instead of buying a house on his name, he buys it on his brother's name, which happens a lot for different reasons. Right, but he buys a house on somebody else's name. Now, he's expecting to get the house back from the guy whose name he bought the house on. Right? So, ain't limkor. We don't force him to sell it to the guy who bought it in his name. Now, it doesn't mean, we're going to see in the Gemara Vayta, it doesn't mean he actually has to sell it, meaning just to give him a shtar that the field really belongs to him.
Am I allowed to buy something in somebody else's name without their permission?
Well, it's a risk.
I'm saying, but I'm allowed. I could buy something in your name without your permission.
If you pay, then yes, you can't take his money. But if you pay, then what?
Nothing to live fun of. You can come steal it. You can come take it from him. Then
it's a risk because if you're buying it with hard-earned money, then the guy could say, "Hey, buy, I'm taking it."
Wasn't there a guy in Shayashiv that did this years ago and isn't allowed in the building anymore?
I could be. I'm not sure. All
right.
Welcome back, Jesse, from all your helping Klal Yisrael speeches.
It wasn't
I have
me.
some free time now.
You know, I don't have the combination, but it wasn't me.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's what the guy did. He bought a field from his friend in the name of a different friend. So we don't force that friend who the house was bought in his name to give a shtar to the purchaser. But if you told if he told the seller of the field that it's on almanas, then then we do force him to. Now, what does this mean? So my Kamma, what is it saying? So Amar of Sheishas Hachi Kamma Halikech so the Mechaveira b'Shem Reish Galusa, right? Somebody who takes a field from his friend in the name of the Reish Galusa. So not only, so Rav Shesh is saying, not only did he buy the name in somebody else's name, the field in somebody else's name, he bought it in the community leader's name, in order to make it chashuv, the mechira, right? In order to make the sale. So like he went after the mayor and he said, "Okay, I'm buying this for the mayor." Or the mayor is buying this. I'm buying this on behalf. So we don't force the Reish Galusa to sell it. Which again doesn't mean to sell, just means to write a star that it's not really his field, it's this other guy's field. Then Koifinas Reish Galusa Limkar, which is also very interesting. If he said it on condition, he's buying the field on condition for the Reish Galusa, on the condition that the Reish Galusa signs over the deed to the guy that gave the money, then the Reish Galusa does have to give it over. So what's pshat? What's going on here? So Amar Mar.
Thanks. Something like that is legal?
I know, it's very hard to understand. Very hard to understand.
What do you mean when you say, when he asks, is it legal? Is this a
I'm buying
jurisprudence
something
crisis?
I'm buying something in the governor's name.
Halachically or legal? What do you mean?
I'm at everything. Like, how does that work? I could buy something. I could write the president on it.
It's not the same as if you're staying in the hotel with the president or something, and you're in room 214, and he's on the 6th floor. And you say, "Oh, I'm going to buy something from the bar."
No, I
and
understand you didn't steal
6:30.
anything. I get it. You're not stealing anything, but still, I'm buying something in someone else's name.
What should be wrong with that? I mean, it's an interesting concept, but what exactly is wrong with it?
Maybe you're buying in his name so he gets all the violations.
Whatever the reason is, the second part I don't understand, the almanas part. But let's see how the Gemara plays
Because
out.
that would cost the seller, no?
It doesn't
The
cost.
seller wants to sell the sale. He's going to have to renege. He's going to give the money back.
He's going to have to give the money back. Yeah. If the Reish Galusa doesn't give him the money, he's going to have to give the money back. Yeah. Yeah. So Amar Man, Alikech Sada b'Shem Reish Galusa. Right. So we said that if somebody takes a field in the name Reish Galusa, ain't koifin I say we a Reish Galusa limka. We don't force the Reish Galusa to sell mechlal. The mikna kanyale. Right. So we see from this that he did buy the field, right? Right, because you see that the mechira works. So lema pliga the bnei marava. So let's say this disagrees with the bnei marava said. The amri b'chimi haydiu lebal chitin sheyikne chitin lebal avais. What did the bnei marava ask on Rabbi Yochanan? How can a guy go buy a field for somebody else if the seller has no idea who he's selling it to? Right? But he doesn't know that he's buying it on behalf of himself, right? Meaning, how can he's buying it for the Reish Galusa, right? And we're saying, oh no, but the Reish Galusa is going to go sell it, give me the deed to the field. But what do you mean? You didn't tell the guy that you're buying the field for yourself, at least in the Reisha, right? You told the guy you're buying it for the Reish Galusa, right? How did a kinyan happen to you? Right? And that's what but you see here the kinyan does work. So you see that that's not like the bnei marava. So the Gemara answers, "Imishumha loy kasha." Because of that, that's not a kasha. Going to do it lebal sada v'diyanu lasadi. It's talking about where he told the bal sada about it, and he also told witnesses about it. Right? Meaning he told everybody, "This is the shtick. I'm buying it for myself, but we're putting it through the Reish Galusa's name." Right? I guess that's because I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe taxes. I don't know.
This is a case of star, not Kenyan. It's a case of star.
What do you mean? It's what do you mean? He's saying it's a kinyan with a star.
why would we need to know the Reish Galusa's name if we don't if it's just a case of Kinyan? Or if it's a case of Kesef. I mean, I think Kesef, Star, and what's it called? And Kinyan
No,
are the ways to acquire property, right?
Kenyan chazaka.
Chazaka. So this is the same thing. I'm saying this is so how is this a case of Chazaka? Could the only reason you need the Reish Galusa to sign it back is because now he needs proof that he owns it.
You're talking about two different kinds of chazaka. One's the
I'm
Kenyan
talking-
and one's the 3 years.
I don't understand how this transaction is working in the case of the Gemara. How is he saying I'm going to buy this in the name of the Reish Galusa? How does it matter how he's buying it, or it doesn't matter?
Yeah, he's buying it with a star.
Okay.
So the seller writes a star to the Reish Galusa. I'm selling to the Reish Galusa this field. So now, for all intents and purposes, the Rayev is the Reish Galusa's. The Reish Galusa owns this field. The problem is he doesn't. The guy who bought it is the real owner.
He doesn't own it. It's in his name.
Well, right, exactly.
Yeah,
but
but
he's going to own it. Once a Reish Galusa transfers the star to him, you're right. Once a Reish Galusa transfers the star to him, then he's going to own it.
Well, he already owns it now. The problem is the star is written in the Reish Galusa's name.
Right.
That's the issue. It's the converse of the yesterday's case.
Unless he's acquiring it through Chazaka, and he just needs the star to be able to do the next transfer or to Yorish it or something.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Right?
Then you don't have this whole issue.
Sure you do. How are you going to transfer it?
Transfer what? You only need to keep the star for 3 years. He can stay in the field for 3 years and not have a star. He just wants proof of ownership. And
Yeah. But anyway, so that's what the Gemara is saying. That it's talking about where there was how do you call it? Everything was on the table. However the lashon is, everything was on the table. The Gemara first thought everything was not on the table. Then saying no, everything's on the table. Everybody knew what was going on. So Gemara says, okay, then what about the seifa? He says on condition, then he forces the Reish Galusa. Amai, why? Reish Galusa. Why can the Reish Galusa let the Reish Galusa tell him? Lo yikrai beina. I don't need your chashivas and I don't need your cheapness. Meaning, what do I look like to you? A real estate guy? Right? You're buying things in my name and then you're making me sell things? What do you think I am? I mean, why is he forced to do this? Because some guy decided to buy some real estate in his name. Right? So the Gemara says, Elamar Abaya. So Abaya has a similar way of understanding this like Rav Sheshes, but this is what he says. Right? If somebody takes a sada in the name of his friend, and the question is, Chaver Reish Galusa or not? But okay. But he buys a field in the name of his friend, onto today's daf now. We do not force the seller to sell it a second time. And if he did say almanas, then we do force him. Right? Meaning, so until now, what is the top line? Rav Shesh's pshat was we don't force the Reish Galusa. This one is saying we don't force the seller to give him a different shtar. But if he did say almanas, then he told the Moicha you have to do it almanas. So therefore, then you do. Yeah. So Amar. Fine. So that's the way they understand the rest. So Amar. Somebody buys a field in the name of his friend and we don't make the owner give another star. Meaning, some guy comes and he buys a star in the name of his buys a field in the name of his friend, and then he goes to the guy and says, I really only bought it in the name of my friend, but I really want it for myself. So you got to give me another star that I own it. So we don't force him. So when it says pshita, it's pasha. What do you think a guy is going to put out 2 shtaras that he sold the land to 2 different people? He's going to put out a star like that. He can get into big trouble like that. Meaning both of them could come after him and say, "You sold me land." Right? So it's pasha that he doesn't have to give it. So the Gemara answers, "Mao the same made the yadas You know that he could say to the guy, this is what we would think. You would think you could tell the seller, I know that I'm buying it for you know that I'm buying it for myself. The kavina, and I'm making a panachia, which is Rashi says is for Hatzalah, right? That's why Naphtali's on. Yeah. So he knew about this Rashi. So right. So basically he's doing it to sort of act as for whatever, that it's gonna be easier for him. The Zuzi Pikdi Loishadina, and I'm not giving you money to buy a field in somebody else's name for no reason. Pikdi means for no reason. I'm not sending. Ella died to the cost of Leishtara Achrina. Right? It's with the das that I'm writing another star. Kamash Malon, the Amarle, in Yona Avdilach Bahadi Ahud Zavasale Bishman. He says to him that he did it for I bought it for some sort of tonight, right? And then write another star, right? So he says you were doing this all sorts of shtick, meaning, and the other guy's going to write you the star, right? Meaning, why do I have to write you star? Again, the Meicher says he knows the shtick that's going on. This guy's buying a house in somebody else's name. Then he's going to transfer the deed to him, or the title, whatever. So the seller says, "What does that have to do with me? I knew this is what you're doing, but he's going to give you a star, not me, right? He doesn't want to be giving out 2 stars." So then the Gemara,
why isn't that automatically right? Didn't we have a case in Gittin where a guy sold his 2 stars? He has a star that sold his field to Reuven, and a day later to Shimon. Isn't the second one automatically possible?
you mean if it's 2 different stars?
Yeah, that's what he wants the guy to do.
Maybe he knocks out. Maybe he knocks it out.
Well, who's holding the first star?
I don't a guy whose name it was bought in. I think. Oh.
Well, if you have a star from the same guy with one date and another star with the second date, don't we always say the second one is Zaifa?
I don't remember. It's
been a while since we learned Gittin.
Yeah. Right. I don't remember. That's no chiddush. Anyway, so it's fine. So if he said almanas, then we force the meicher to sell it. So where it says pshita, right? It's pashut. Because the witnesses said in front of him, chazu the star achrina kabeina. Right? He says, I need another star. Mao the same you can say to Mamina star mehechdeka shakus b'shmei kamret. You could say, I know you want another star, so take it from the guy who you bought it in his name. Kamash Malan, the Amrle, the Haki Tarchi, Vamarula Adam Kamach. This is why I was matriach to bring Adam in front of you to minachu the Kavino. Because I want the star from you, the seller, not from the guy I wrote it, whose name I wrote it in. Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of that sugya. Now we have an interesting ribis sugya. Right, Rav Kahana Yov Zuzah Akisna. Rav Kahana gave money to buy flax, but he never picked up the flax. Right, so he bought. Hey, this does come up, right? You know what it comes up? Well, it usually comes up the other way. Saying a guy promises to, I don't know why with leased cars this comes up. The guy tells the guy he's buying a leased car, gives him a deposit, and then the lease prices go up. Right. So now there's a kinyan there. So who gets the higher price? Let's say you want to flip the lease. Right. Oh, excuse me. So if the guy that has the lease, not bought the lease and paid for it, so then it's his. It's his. And what happened here is that the guy never picked up the flax. Not the guy. Rav Kahana never picked up the flax. The Saifa Yakar Kisna. And what happened was before he picked it up, the price of flax went through the roof. Yeah. So this guy was an Erlucha guy, and Zavne Marvasa de Kisna, he sold, right? The owner sold the flax at a profit, right? And he wanted to give the money to Rav Kahana, right? He was a very honest businessman. He could have sold it he could have given the flax, he could have sold the flax and told Rav Kahana, here, you can have back your money, and that's it. Right? But he didn't. He sold the flax at the higher price and gave it back to Rav Kahana.
But how could he sell something that wasn't his?
What? That's part of the question. So also Lakameh, well, I don't know if it's part of the question, but he's doing it on his behalf.
Maybe Rakana wanted to eat it.
What?
Maybe he wanted the flax. He wanted to keep it. He wanted to make something with it. I don't know what flax used for.
I mean, how did he sell it?
Meaning who? No, who's saying he wants to cash over the flax?
Right,
He
right,
wanted
right.
the flax.
So I imagine if he did, then he can just take the guy will, I don't know, can the guy just give him back flax and finish?
He sold it.
No, I'm saying find the flax someplace else.
Yeah.
No? But he's gonna be losing out. I don't know, he's gonna be losing out. So the assumption is in most cases the guy will take the deal.
Right.
Right. So also look, Rav, they came in front of Rav. Omalei, they said, Ma Evid, what should I do? Ezel Ishkal Zuze, should I go take my money? Omalei, so, meaning should he go take his money? If he goes takes his money, it looks like I gave the guy $100 for the flax. 2 weeks later, I'm getting back $150. That looks like ribbis. Right? I gave him 100 and I'm coming back with 150. Right? So he asked Rav, should I do this?
It looks like ribbis, or it looks like maybe he got a better deal?
No, it looks like ribbis.
Why? Well, he did get a better deal.
But he comes to a guy, gives him money. The guy goes and does business, and then he gives him back $150. Sure looks like ribbis to me.
You say he lent him the flax? What did he lend him?
No, he came to the guy's house. He
wanted $100 and he got back $150. So isn't that ribbis?
That's not what.
That's why I didn't understand it when I learned it this morning. What do you mean? Why is it ribbis as opposed to business?
Why? Because he gave him money and he came back with money, and that's it. They didn't have stocks.
Really, if I give you $1,000 to invest in a building, and I'll give you $100,000 to invest in a building, you give me back 125. That's ribbis. Maybe you sold the building and you sold.
You have to make sure that it's not a loan. Yes.
Who said it's a loan here?
Yeah, it wasn't a loan, but it looks like a loan.
What looks like a loan? Maybe it's business.
It's not. What do you mean? That's not usually how business rolls.
How does business roll?
Yeah. You give a guy money.
Yeah.
You get product or something for it.
Really? I don't buy an interest in a nursing home or an interest in a building. Nobody buys stuff. I don't understand. Nobody buys.
He bought flax.
I don't buy stocks and I get back money or it's interest in flax.
Yaakov, it's like giving money to a yeshiva. What do you get in return? Nothing. No?
It's like nursing homes. Well, you with your nursing home. They do it by you every day of the week.
How does someone? That's like ribbis. He bought flax. How does someone not know he never flax? How does someone know that?
He never took possession.
How do you know? How does another person know that?
Well, what's the question? If never took possession, then there's no kinyan. So why we even have the question?
There's a kinyan kesef.
Kesef. It's a top one.
So the kinyan kesef happened when he took the money.
Kinyan, then there's the
Nobody's saying it's not. Let's get something straight. It's not ribbis. It just looks like ribbis.
Why does it look like ribbis? That's what I'm just trying to understand.
Because he knocked on the guy's door and he brought him $100. A week later, he comes back. He knocks on the guy's door and he gives him $150.
Maybe he invested it in the market. I don't know.
You're asking the other way, Zev. You're asking on business. How is business ever okay? Because it looks like ribbis. The
Right.
Gemara answers that. That's a good question. The Gemara answers it. But either way, you're right. It all looks like ribbis. Here we don't have the answer that the Gemara gives by Schayra. It's not structured as a business. He bought flax. He was supposed to take flax. He didn't take flax. That wasn't a business deal that they made. Buy flax and sell it for me.
How do you
What
know?
is it?
Why does it look
Irrelevant.
like
Zev, irrelevant. If he would have said, buy flax and sell it for me, that's a business deal. It has to be structured the correct way, so we don't say Mexicaribus. There's an answer to Mexicaribus. Here, it wasn't structured as a business deal. So you don't have an answer to Mexicaribus.
So
Usually
when
we
do
would
we
ask the
determine
same
if a
question.
Mexicaribus or not?
How do you, what's that, Gershon, how do you
It's
know
usher.
how do you know how it was structured? You didn't hear the conversation. It's only Mexican.
It's irrelevant.
The Gemara gives you the case.
What are you talking about?
The
We know
Gemara
the
just
case.
gave you the case.
No, but they're asking, how do they know he didn't bring it over and said, okay, we're investing in I'm gambling on the Super Bowl. This is my agent, and I'm just coming back.
Because the Gemara doesn't say that.
Who the owner? How do we know the owner?
The
of
Gemara is
flax
making an
didn't go
assumption that it's ribbis. Why is it?
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. The Gemara says, "Is it Mechzi Karibis? Does it look like ribbis?"
Why is the Gemara making the assumption that it looks like ribbis?
It's not an assumption. It is. It does look like ribbis.
Why does it look like ribbis? It does look like ribbis.
Zev, if it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck, then Mustama, it's a duck. So that's the same thing. It looks like ribbis. You can't say it's assuming. It looks like it.
Why is it a business?
Tiago, by the way, you know what I just realized? Hello, I got a great topic for Shavuos night. Ribbis in business.
So let me tell you.
You probably have done it already, no?
No, I don't think we ever did it.
No,
we did both nights of Shavuos for this.
Yeah.
Your
kasha is why every other business doesn't look like ribbis. That's your kasha. It looks like ribbis, that's for sure. The question is why all other business doesn't.
Ribbis, it only looks like ribbis if it's structured in a loan. That's the only time it looks like ribbis to me.
What are you talking about?
That would be ribbis.
Zev, what is ribbis?
You borrow money and you pay back more than you borrowed.
Very good. What happened in this case? He gave him money and he got back more than he gave.
If it is a loan.
What's the difference? A loan would be ribbis.
It's a loan, because if it's a
Very
loan,
good.
it's ribbis. And if it's business, it's not ribbis.
If it's business, it looks like ribbis.
Okay, so you want to ask him? Okay, I don't know.
I'm saying you're asking the wrong.
I'm not saying it is. It just looks like it. That's
Boy,
all.
let me tell you something.
That's all it is. A
Zev, you
loan,
better be careful.
that you
Parents
gave
gonna tell you
money
like
is ribbis. And
Ezu Neshech in 2 months is really going to be a highway. Let me tell you, Bez Hashem. It's good.
Wait till the second blot. It's going to take 3 weeks.
No, it won't.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Right. So it's a good point. The mice is a good to confuse. There's a reason why ribbis is from the hardest sugyas in Shas, right? Amalei.
How far away is it?
2 months. 2 months, Bez Hashem. Amalei. Berach. Ika Zavni. Meaning, so he answered. He said he asked Rav, does it look like ribbis? Amalei. Ika. Iki Kozavni. If
you're in trouble. It's basically
if when they sold it, Amri Hai Kisna the Kahanu. If when they sold it, they said, "Oh, this is the," they told the guy, this is meaning when they sold it to the third party, right? Kahana gave money and bought the flax. Now, the guy's doing him a favor because flax prices went through the roof, so he's flipping it for him, right? So if when he told the buyer, the new buyer, that I'm selling you Rav Kahana's flax, Zil Shkol, go take it because it doesn't look like it's he was mefarsim, I guess, right? He publicized that that it belonged to Rav Kahana, so there was business there, which answers Zev's question a little bit at least. But if not, if they didn't tell the new buyer that this is Rav Kahana's, then don't take it because it looks like ribbis, because it looks like they just borrowed the money from Rav Kahana to flip it. Right? So now the Gemara is saying, come on, so who's this like? So again, you had this new buyer buying it for himself from Rav Kahana, and Rav Kahana was nowhere to be found. Right? So a middle guy is facilitating a purchase, right? without the seller having any idea who he's selling it to, right? Because Rav Kahana was ultimately the seller. He was sitting at home, right? And the flax owner sold it on his behalf. So come on, is this going like the B'nai Marava? Right? Could it be that who's letting? I mean, how could it work? Who's letting the owner of the wheat know that he's buying? That he's getting the wheat for the owner of the money, right? So Gemara says, Rav Kahana arba v'shokol timni. So now, did Rav Kahana give 4 and take 8? Right? Kisna memelahu deyakar. What happened was that he didn't do that. He didn't give 4 and come back and take 8, right? The kisna, the flax went up memela. The price went up memela. Migzal gazlua, right? So if Rav Kahana really owned it, then like Naftali said, then they're crooks, right? They stole his flax and they sold it. The Tanana we learned Kol Gazlana Mashama Kishasa Gzela. Gazlanan steal it whatever it was worth at the time of the stealing. So what was it worth at the time of the stealing? The higher price, right? Meaning, so it doesn't look like ribis. So because there was never any sort of halvah, there was never any loan here. Basically, the seller who's trying to be a nice guy comes out that he's really a crook, right? Because he should not have sold Rav Kahana's flax without Rav Kahana's permission. So that he did. Now he has to pay back Rav Kahana for his stolen property, which is what he does. Not property, his stolen product, his stolen flax. Right? Fine. Amri. So Amri Hossam Amona Havoy. There was some sort of an amona, is like an agreement, right? This really gets into finances. Like he bought futures. He didn't buy actual flax. He was buying flax futures. You know, like you trade on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, I think it's called, whatever. In Chicago, they're trading. You trade futures. You can buy futures in anything. So he gave him money to buy flax futures. He didn't do a mashicha on the flax, right? Nobody ever does when you buy commodities, right? So you're allowed to make some sort of amana that you're gonna get payros when, even if the price goes up. I don't know, but when the price goes up, but you cannot do an amana with money, because that looks like ribis, right? Meaning you can go give money and then take the fruit later when the prices of fruit go up. That's okay, right? But to do it with money, if he can't. Meaning you can't go tell the guy, hey, I'm paying you $100 now for the flax. If the flax goes up in a week from now, I want you to pay me back money. That you can't do. You could say, I want flax what it's going to be worth in a week from now, but I don't want flax. I don't know why you would do that though, but I don't want but to say I don't want the flax, I want the money, that you can't do. All right? Okay, so Zok the Mishnah. So we know that when somebody steals, then he has to pay back. You have to pay it back a shava pruta, right? Actually, a guy asked me an interesting shaila today. It's not exactly this Gemara, but it has enough what to do with it. It was an interesting shaila. The winter vacation. So one guy broke the other guy's Betty Crocker not sandwich maker, but a pizza maker. Right? I hope the Olam knows what that is. Right?
Huge crisis.
Yes, huge crisis. And now he had to pay him back a new Betty Crocker. Okay, or the other name. They assumed he had to pay him back. They didn't ask me that. Shiloh wasn't getting involved. Right? But he wants to know, does he have to toivel it first before he gives it back?
No, he waits till bingo opens tomorrow and he buys another one.
Yeah, that would be an eitzah. But he wanted to know does he have to give back because he broke a toivel thing. So when he gives back the geneva, it's not really geneva there in that case, but does he have to give it back toivel? So if you steal a sandwich maker or a pizza maker from a guy, and you want to give it back, and you somehow went into a guy's rishus, and now he needs a new tefillah. So does he have to give him back a toivel, or is that not called part of the paying back the stolen property.
Maybe it's Merse Caribus because he never told it, to begin with.
Well, I don't know if there's ribis on something like that.
Oh, okay, fine, okay.
All right.
You would say the chiyuv of tevila is on the owner, so he doesn't really own it. The who
He is,
who
yeah. He has to pay it back.
so is he? And when he buys a new one, a Betty Crocker, Joy Foreman, whatever it is, he buys a new one. He's the owner of it then, but he didn't mean to own it at all. He meant to get it for the other guy. So
Okay. Could be, but then the easy way around is to do the kinyan for himself, Toivel, and give it back. That'll be a way out.
But the tevila, he's not doing the tevila for his own use at all.
Yeah, but if he owns it, he could do it. If he owns it, he could do it for himself.
Don't you
What's
usually
the
say the
style
opposite?
of paying back what you borrowed or what you damaged?
What? Yeah.
So you're saying he has to?
I don't know. I wasn't sure. I didn't think so, but I didn't think so. One has nothing to do with the other. But you could have told him religion is a private matter. Rabban's not here tonight. Religion.
Betty Crocker. But man, Nick Nastachas Kanfei Ashkina.
Yeah. But anyways, okay. So Zok the Mishnah. Goizel is Chaveira Shava Pruta. A guy steals from his friend a Shava Pruta, right? Because we know anything less than a Shava Pruta, you don't have to pay back. The Nishbaloi, and he swears to him that he didn't steal it. Now we know the din is that when you do a false shua, you got to pay back the stolen amount plus a fifth. Right, so he stole the Shava Pruta and he swore to him that he didn't. Then he was murdered. So if that's the case, he has the Yelichenu Acharov, the Modai. He needs to chase him as far as Modai to give back the stolen property. Right. The Bava says it means afilu lemodai, meaning that was very far away. So he has to, meaning normal Geneva, you don't have to run and chase the guy to the other end of the world. You can just hold on to it until he comes to collect. But once you swear and you're chayav a fifth, then you're mechuyev to chase him all the way to the other side of the world. Meaning, because the money has to be given into his hands, right? But that's the din min haTorah. Lo yitin, and not only that, but lo yitin lo lebenoi v'lo l'shlucha. He can't come to the guy's door. When he runs in, he doesn't want to see the guy because he's embarrassed. So when the guy runs out to Mincha Ma'ariv, he quickly knocks on the door and says, "Here, give this money to your father." Doesn't go, right? So and you can't do it to a shliach either, right? Aval noisen l'shliach bezdin, but if it's a shliach bezdin, then he can give it to him. The meis yachsel liyorshav, and if the guy dies, meaning the guy he stole it from, then the money goes back to his yarshim. Fine. Let's say he made the shua, so he lied, and then he admitted it. So now he has to pay keren and chaimish, meaning he has to pay the principal and a fifth. So nasan is a keren, but nasan is a chaimish. He gave him the keren, and he did not give him the fifth. So machalay la keren, or machalay la keren. He was Michael the keren. The owner said, "You don't have to pay me back the keren." But he was not Michael the chaimish. Why he would do that, I don't know. Machalay al zeh v'al zeh. He was Michael the keren and the chaimish. Chutz mipachas shava pruta bekeren, except for less than a shava pruta bekeren, which, like we said, less than a shava pruta is nothing. So that means he was Michael the whole thing. Ein tzarich leilach acharav. He does not have to run after him, right? Yeah, so Memela, the chase is only in the first case with the keren and the chaimish. Nasalei is a chaimish, v'lo nasalei is a keren. Let's say he gave him a chaimish and he didn't give him keren. Machalei al chaimish, v'lo machalei al keren. Or he was Michael him for the chaimish, but he wasn't Michael on the keren. Machalei al zev al zeh, which is shavapruta v'keren. If he was Michael him on this one and this one, except for shavapruta, tzarich leilach acharav, he has to go chase him. Nasalei is a keren, v'nishbalei al chaimish. If he gave him the keren and he swore to him on the chaimish, right? Meaning he gave him the keren, right? Then Then he swore again. Now it gets like into Yavamas type situation. He stole $100, right? He stole $100, and then he lied that he didn't steal it. Now he has to pay back $120, $125. Okay, we're not getting involved how that works. Let's say $120. He has to give him $120. Fine. He gives him back the $100, and he says, "I swear to you, I gave you 120." Meaning, I swear I gave you the fifth, the extra fifth, right? Then he got caught onto a base. Then he has to pay harez mishalim chaimish al chaimish. He has to pay a chaimish on top of that chaimish, right? He has to pay the 20 for the chaimish plus another 4, let's say 4 or 5, right? And then this keeps on going. If he keeps doing this shtick, he keeps swearing on every other chaimish, which I guess this guy, not the brightest bulb in the chandelier, but he keeps doing that. So he's going to have to keep paying until the payment, because each payment's going to get lower and lower. So until it goes less than a shava pruta, and then he's done. Okay, same thing with Epikodan, meaning Epikodan is, and we can get to this in 6 weeks in Bava Metzia, Hashem, right? By Epikodan, I mean you give something over, somebody you watch, and then he denies that he had it, or anything like that. It says either Epikodan, either sumas yad, either with Epikodan, or a loan, or begezel, or ashakis amisai, or he made fraud on his people, like matzah aveda, or he found an aveda for kicheshba, and he denied it, v'nishba al sheker, and he swore falsely. Harei mishalim keren b'chaimish v'asham, so then he pays keren b'chaimish v'asham. So basically the same dinim. Oh, we forgot to say that when a guy swears falsely, he also bring the korban asham. Okay, so Zok the Gemara. The Gemara says, so nishpaloi, if he swears and he swore falsely, then the Gemara says then he has to chase him to all ends of the world to make sure he puts the money into the guy he stole from his hand, right? So nishpaloi in, loy nishpaloi loy. But if he didn't swear, then he doesn't have to chase him, right? Like what happened here? Just because he swore falsely, that's when he has to chase him all over. But if he just stole and he wants to give it back, he doesn't have to. So money, whose sheet is this? Lo Reb Tavra, lo Reb Akiva. It's not Reb Tavra, not Reb Akiva. The Tanya Gazal Echad Mechamisha. If a guy stole from one of 5 people, right, and he's having a bad day because any day isn't, and he has no idea which guy he stole from, right? And of course, each one of those 5 guys say the stuff was stolen from me, right? Very simple case. A guy steals, he pickpockets somebody in the grocery store. And every person in the grocery store, he didn't look to see who he would pickpocket. And then every person in the grocery store, let's say the 5 people there, say, "Hey, he ripped me off," right? So what does he do? He just puts down the money in the store and he runs away. That's Reb Tavra.
And he's yotzei his chiyuv of returning the item, but just by doing that.
According to Reb Tarfon, yes. Let them fight out. He put it down there. Let them fight. Yeah, David, it's not such a thing. It's a hard stuff to understand today, right? He's saying he put it out.
Me and Aaron had a good time this morning.
I'm sure.
It's obviously 4 guys are lying and 1 guy's telling the truth. So yeah, let them fight over it. You know.
Yeah. So that's Shitas Reb Tarfon. Kiva Aimer Loizu Derech. Right, so I guess David is a Reb Kiva guy. That's not the way to get out of doing an Avera, just putting down the money in front of 5 people and let them fight. That one you do understand, David?
No, because the other 4 guys are getting something that they know they never lost.
So I'm saying, so this Ganav is according to the...
I don't like either way.
So what do you propose?
Yerushalmi, maybe. I don't know what my other options are.
Here.
There are no other options. The problem is he has a vehation. He has a mitzvah and a thief to return it. He can't say, he doesn't have that option.
Paying back each individual one is probably better than putting it down, and the chances are the guy doesn't even get it. So giving everybody back is better than the other one.
Right.
at least to our limited mindsets.
And certainly to mine, correct.
Yeah. So okay, so whatever it is, so now we're stuck. We don't know what to do here. So, but it's Reb Tarfon and Reb Akiva, two total opposite ends. So now money. Who's the Tan of our Mishnah? Right? Meaning Reb Tarfon. So if it's Reb Tarfon, Afagav Ishtava, even though he swore, Amar Maniach Gezel B'Neim Ustalik. Meaning, even if he swore, he's going to say, "I'll just put the money down and leave." Right? And then he would have to find the guy to put the money down in front of him. Right? Meaning Reb Tarfon and Reb Akiva and their machlokes of how to pay back these five guys don't say anything about a shvuah. So Mamela, the Gemara is assuming that regardless of whether the guy made the shvuah or not, you have to take care of the situation, right? So Reb Tarfon is going to say, even though he swore, he says, "I just put this gazela down and leave." Right? So Mamela, the same thing. I'm not mechuyev to go chase the guy all the way to the other end of the world. I have the gazela; it's here. If he wants to come take it, take it. Right? Meaning, if you put it down in front of these five guys, the guy who's supposed to get it back should take it. Everybody else, get out of here. Right? If the other people decide to take it, that's they're maybe ganav. Right? So our Mishnah can't be Reb Tarfon. And Reb Akiva, so Avagav Delay Shtav, according to Reb Akiva, even if you didn't make a shvuah, Amar Ach Yisham Gezel L'chol Echad Ve'echad, you have to pay the gazela for everyone. Right? Meaning, so according to Reb Akiva, even if you didn't swear the sheker, you got to make sure that your money is paid back into each and everyone's hands. Well, that's Laila Reb Akiva. Really, it's Reb Akiva. V'chi Kamma Reb Akiva Ach Yishalem Gezela L'chol Echad Ve'echad. And when did Reb Akiva say this? Until he pays Gezela to each and every one. Right? He's talking about where there's a shvuah. So meaning the Havamina was that they don't care about shvuahs, and now we're going to say no, it's dafka where there was a shvuah. My timer. Right? Now why did Reb Akiva say that he has to pay back everyone? That the one who owns it, you have to give it on the day that he did an Aveira. Right? So, which means that you have to give it, you have to give it to him. You can't do it any other way. You got to make sure it goes to him. Reb Tarfon. What about Reb Tarfon, who says just put it down? Even though he made a shvuah, Rabbana takanta. Rabbana made a takana. Right? Again, a similar takana to takanas hashavim. Right? Remember we had this takanas hashavim, which is that the ganav, if he makes money, so then he only has to pay back the geneva part, because otherwise he's not going to do the tshuva. So same thing here. The Rabbana made a takana, meaning even though midaraisa, he has to make sure the money goes back into the hands. But the time they made a takana, the tiny Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Tzadok, takana gedoyla hiskinu. They made a big takana, right? So what's a big takana? Shem haisa haitza yisera la karen. If it's more, the expenses of paying back the stolen property are more than the principal, then Mishalim Karen B'chaimish Lebezdin, then just give the Karen B'chaimish Lebezdin. Meaning, if it would cost him a lot of money for a plane ticket to go bring the stolen money and put it into the hand of the guy he stole it from, then there's no point. There's no point. He's not going to do it. So therefore, in that case, just give it to the Bezdin. Or maybe Ashma, and then he can bring his korban Asham, and then he gets the part. I should have pointed this out before. The guy cannot bring his korban Asham until he pays back the fifth. Right? That was a little important piece that I forgot to say, right? Because otherwise, let him bring the korban asham and he'll pay the money back later. He cannot bring his korban asham until the chaimish and the karen and the chaimish are paid back, right? The Akiva.
Some of this is the Shari Tshuva for today. This sugi.
Okay, good. You make me feel a little less guilty. Rebbe Kiva, Kiyav Rabbana Takanta. When the Rabbana make the kind of hechiti yada leman gazle, that's where he knows who he stole it from. So he's not mechuyev to travel that far because he's not going to end up paying it back anyway. I'm sorry. Hechiti yada leman gazle to come hadri lemamayna lemarim. Right, that's where he knew what it was. So he knows he's giving back the money through Bezdin to the guy. Fine. But if a guy steals from five guys, he has no idea who he stole from. When the money may never get back to the guy who actually was stolen from, then the Rabbanan didn't make the takana. Meaning, the Rabbanan made the takana because the bottom line is the Bezdin lets the guy know. They send him an email that, by the way, your money's sitting here in Bezdin. We have it. So that's fine. But if the guy just puts the money down in front of these 5 guys and lets them fight over it, maybe the one who was really stolen from didn't get it. Right? So therefore, he's out. All right, now the one has a long kasha that takes about 10 lines. Right? So now, because again, we said that the Gemara is talking about where there was a shvur. Well, at least let's get through this kasha. So Masav, meaning we're talking about where Rav Tarfon and Rav Akiva even made a shvur. So Gemara is going to ask on that. Masav, Rav Huna, Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav Shimon ben Elazar, Lo Nechuk Rav Tarfon Rav Akiva Al Shalokach Echad Mechamisha Ve'eni Yedei Me'ezim and Locha. There's no machlokes between Rav Tarfon and Rav Akiva where he bought it, not stolen, right? Meaning, let's say a guy goes to a shuk, right? And he's walking around as an esrog. Let's go just a mushal. He buys an esrog, and he's walking around the shuk with different esrog, and then he totally forgets who he took that esrog from, right? So he has no idea who to pay. He just puts the money down and then he leaves.
They said that was the Chashukei Chemed Shaila, that the guy took it to go show his Rebbe, and he comes back and he forgets which table he took it from.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
The Chashukei Chemed?
Yeah. Someone said it this morning, yeah.
Interesting. You would think that this Shaila should happen. Right? It's not so fun, right?
Yeah, because all the Mochrim look the same, and all the tables look the same, and all the Esrogim look the same.
And the sellers look the same. And,
all the Mochrim look the same. I'm saying that, right?
Yeah. Anyway, so that's so Baruch Shekivanti to the Shaila. So Sheminir to main Mekach B'nei was Talit. In that case, everybody agrees. You just put it there, right? Because he wasn't over an Aveira, right? He stole V'nei Me'ezim and Gozel Shub Tarfon. Now Menir to make Zela B'nei or Mistalik. He puts it there and he leaves. But Kiva Aimer ain't like Takana. He has no Takana at Shiyashlum Gzel L'chol Echad V'Echad. He's talking about this Shtava, and if you say that he made a Shvua, right? So Mali Lokach, Mali Gozal, then what's the difference if he stole, or what's the difference if he bought it? Meaning, if we have to say that both cases talking about where he made a Shvua, right? So if he made a Shvua, then L'chara, they both have the same din, right? But I don't know what was the Shvua Sheker by the Lakicha? What was the Shvua? What did he swear? How did he swear falsely? I guess the 5 Meichrim came to him, maybe. Somebody came to him and said, I swear I paid you. Or I don't know. That can't be either. I'm not sure exactly.
He says it's Sumas Yot. So this is a Shvua Deraisa.
So he's going on
this case, Mali Lekeach, Harinish Sheker.
Yeah, but he said, but he admits it wasn't Behetero Asliyoda. He admits it was. I guess it's better. That's the shur. The shur is that it came to his hand Beheter. He didn't steal it. He said he's buying it. We just don't know who he bought it from. Okay. Okay, so that's one kasha. There was a story with a chassid. Shalokach Mishnei B'nei Adam. Today, that's Negei Teini. A chassid. He wants to be a chassid. Ma'aseh b'chassid echad shalokach Mishnei B'nei Adam v'lo yedei me'ezim en lokach. He took it from 2 people, and he didn't know, and he didn't know who he bought it from. Put the money between them, and then you could leave. Like we said before, and he came in front of Rebbe Kiva, right? So I don't know. He's asking 2 shilas. I don't know, right? So I don't know. I don't know exactly what went on there, right? He asked. He came in front of Rebbe Kiva. You don't have a takana until you pay each and every one. Now, we just said in the previous price that Rebbe Kiva's might in this case. So clearly, we have a machlokes over what Rebbe Kiva's shita was by a purchase. Okay. If you say that he had to make a shvua, very interesting kasha. Chassid mi mishtava b'shekrat. You're going to call somebody a chassid if he made a shvua sheker? He can't be a chassid.
What? Was
Okay, so maybe he made the shvua and then he became a chassid, right? He did tshuva, And then he became a chazir. The Gemara says another interesting fact. Anytime the Gemara says it was a story with chazir echad, I Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava, I Rabbi Yehuda ben Rabbi Eloi, Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava, Rabbi Yehuda ben Rabbi Eloi, Chasidim Meikar Hava. They were not flip outs, as they say. Right? They were Chasidim from the beginning, from the get-go. They were Chasidim. Right? So you see. So how could it be that these cases are only working when he made a shvua? So I don't want to change it. Really, our Mishnah is Reb Tarfon, who says that you can put the money down in front of the 5 people you stole from him. But Reb Tarfon is Maida that where he swore, then he has to pay each and every one back. My timer, that he has to the one it belongs to, he has to give it on the day that he does his Aveira. Right? So in Mela, on the day he did his Aveira, swearing falsely, that's when he has to give it. Right? Should we go a little weiter? What's that? If we're gonna finish, then we'll wait for the kasha. Let's just over Rabbi Kiva. What about Rabbi Kiva? Rabbi Kiva says even if he didn't swear, they made him a knas that he has to pay every one of them. Yeah. Okay, we'll stop over here. It's too late because I started late. I apologize. Let's just say it till him and you'll ask the kasha. Yeah. Fine. Pay Gimel. Shimmer's Malach. So. He knows it's אשר אמרנו שלנו יש נועץ עליהם ולהי שסיינו כגלגל כגש לפני רוח יש דבר יוח לעבוד תלהי תרים כן תדפים וסערכו וספס חסב עליהם עלי פניהם כל מבט ששפר עדיני יבושו יבולו עדיהם ויאכלו ויבדו וידו כי אתה שמך עדיני לבדך ועליונו כל הארץ אחינו כביס ישראל המסונו מסונו ושבע יום דמים ויום ויום יבא שמכים ורחם עליהם ויצאים מצורם לברכה ויפה ללוהר המשאיבו בגבולה השטוב והגלה בזמן תורידו למען אמן. Have a good night everybody. Sudas Tavis. What do you want to ask, Gershon?
No, not a question. You asked that how could the Chassid ask Reb Tarfon and then Rabbi Kiva? How could he ask both? I think the Gemara might be answering that when it brings who the Chassid is. It's either Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava or Rabbi Yehuda ben Eloi. Rabbi Yehuda ben Eloi was Rabbi Kiva's Talmud. So he went to Reb Tarfon first just to give Reb Tarfon covenant. The actual Shiloh was Rabbi Kiva, his Rabbi.
So, because he was the god of men.
That's mutter. No, well, Reb Tarfon and Rabbi Kiva were chavrusas at that point. They were even. So he went to Reb Tarfon to give him covenant, to give covenant to Reb Tarfon. He wasn't asking him as a shayla. Allah. He wouldn't be allowed to. Stamazar wouldn't be allowed to ask Reb Tarfon.
If they were both around.
Reb Kiva's his Rabbi.
So who says that they were close proximity?
They were chavrusas.
That doesn't mean that particular day.
So it had to be. It says it was the same day. No, it just says when he was by Reb Tarfon, he was by Rabbi Kiva. He asked them both.
I don't know. You think that's a shot? You saw that anyway? That's what you're saying.
I'm just saying because the Ma'aseh of the Gemara brings like 2 lines later that Rabbi Yehuda ben Eloi is one of the 2 Hasidim that mentioned in the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda ben Eloi was Rabbi Kiva's one of his 5 Talmidim.
Right. I hear you.
And Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava was before Rabbi Akiva, no? In the Seder, in the chronological order of the Asara Harugei Malchus, I think Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava was first.
So I don't know. Sorry, your mouth. I don't know. That means what does that mean?
Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava and Rabbi Akiva were two of the Asara Harugei Malchus. I don't think Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava could have asked Rabbi Akiva. So if the two Hasidim we have are Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava and Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Loi, the only one that could have done this is Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Loi.
Right.
Who happens to be one of the five main Talmidim Rabbi Akiva.
I hear.
Tiago, you saw that I sent you? You don't have to do the Chazara anymore.
I know. It's unbelievable.
Oh, you
the AI thing is scary.
I love that hektish yesterday. That was the best typo.
What?